Hey everybody, it's Hoverspool again, and I just wanted to show off some of the things or talk about some of the frequently asked questions I got about the last OpenMW VR videos that I've been posting. These are some of the questions I've been asking, as well as a few things that I've noticed. Um, so starting up the game, you might notice the main screen right here. Pretty cool. There aren't a whole lot of extra controls, so you're able to start a new game by like scrolling up and down or looking at your options. But as you might notice, inside of options, you can't really change anything. I don't know a fix for that right now, except for when you are in game, like when you are spawned inside of the world of Morrowind. When you're spawned in game, you then have your laser pointers and then you're able to change options. But this can be a little bit frustrating because, for example, if we try and load a save, it's all here, but I can't switch characters. If I needed to switch characters, what I would have to do is I'd have to back out of that, hit new, and this is what I suggest for most people when they start the game, is just hit new, and then immediately pause the game,
There you go.
hit the game menu, and then you can hit load and pick exactly what character you want. So for example, I'm going to hit this one because I know that this is the one that I've been making all these videos on. So we know the consistency of it. All right. Hey, Caius. Anyway, this is the most recent build that I have found of OpenMW. It came out on November 29th, which is today for me right now in the present, and it came out about 6 hours ago. There are some interesting changes that I've already observed, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but I'm also going to talk a little bit about mods, as well as some other features. I'm just trying to walk outside of the rain because there are some graphical issues that I have in my headset. They aren't game-breaking, but they can be a bit annoying. For example, when there's fast movement, sometimes the models kind of wiggle.
Outlander, or go away.
Which I don't know if that's something that I've done in my settings. For example, this is an issue that comes up if you change your settings in regular OpenMW or regular Open Morrowind. It can sometimes affect the way settings are shown inside of Open Morrowind VR. In fact, I can load characters from my regular version of Open Morrowind into Open Morrowind VR and play as those characters, but I cannot play as characters from Open Morrowind VR in my regular copy of Open Morrowind. I hope that makes sense to some people. If you're experienced in the modding scene, you might understand what I'm trying to say there. But yeah. Other than that, I have noticed that some mods do work straight out of the box. I had like a Morrowind expanded NPC mod that added a lot more people to the cities like Valmora. But I don't currently have that mod installed here. It does work. You may have noticed I changed this as an options in the main settings of the Open Morrowind VR client that I showed you guys, but I extended the draw distance from 3 chunks, which is what you can see in all the other videos where the draw distance was horrible. I've extended the draw distance from 3 chunks to 10. Now you're going to have to do that, or you're going to have to figure out what setting works best for you. I'm giving you some benchmark statistics over here on the side about how my PC handles it, but your mileage may vary. I have a pretty nice computer. But, again, this isn't going to run on Raspberry Pi, but you don't necessarily need a supercomputer to do exactly what I'm doing here. But other than that, some of the changes, as you might have noticed, the HUD is now parallel with my hand, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if I missed this menu before, but if you go to Game Menu and then you go into your regular options, as you can see now, the pointer is back and I can select these things. You can go over here to VR. And now you can see it has haptic feedback. If I had a Valve Index, I might be able to show that off, but I don't. If anyone does have a Valve Index and wants to check that out and talk about it, awesome. Hand-directed movement is an option. I don't really play that way, so I'm not really going to show that off. But then you have the option over to how to display the HUD, so you can choose to display it on top of your hand or just directly on the wrist. I prefer of these options to have it on the wrist. This show mirror texture is actually about how you guys see the video currently. What you are watching is actually a screen copy of what I'm seeing inside my VR headset. It's just a mirrored copy of what's in the VR headset. But by switching this, I can turn this off and you wouldn't be able to see anything. It would just be a black screen or my desktop. But if I switch this right one, I can choose which eye you guys see. So for example, if I hit both, now you're seeing 2 duplicates out of each eye of what it says. But inside of the VR headset, I don't see any difference. There is absolutely no difference. Now, I'm just going to switch it back to right so you guys can kind of see the world normally. Flip, mirror, texture, order, that seems pretty self-explanatory. But we're happy with that. Anyway, I'm going to return to the game. Some people were asking about how you see certain things or how two-handed weapons work. And I'm going to show that off right now. I'm not actually going to go run out and get one, but unfortunately, I'm going to cheat a little bit here just for the sake of showing you guys what a two-handed weapon looks like in Morrowind VR. I think they did an okay job of what is otherwise a pretty hard task. And they just kind of went with, you know, the easy approach of just having you hold it one-handed. But there's some interesting stuff that comes along with that. Just with the way your hands kind of work. So I thought it was worthwhile to just show it off. And plus, you know, it's kind of cool to wield a Daedric Daikatana in the middle of the street. And while I'm here, I'm also going to turn off collisions because I do like showing off the floating feature or just sort of flying around. It's kind of fun. Anyway, you just go over here, click that. As you can see, it's weird. It is kind of like I'm gripping it with my second hand. I guess if you had a fixture that worked like a two-handed blade, you could, in effect, use it as such. But for the most part, using it just like this is fine. I'm going to put that away before I kill somebody. Casting spells is... oh, I forgot. I'm floating right now. This is an interesting way. I actually do kind of like when I cheat... looking at, you know, the world from or looking at Morrowind from a bird's eye view, and it can be kind of cool. It is a sort of interesting floating feeling, and it's nice to be able to see all the NPCs like walk in between or walk on their paths throughout the city. But as you can see, the draw distance a lot better from up here. You see, we're going a lot farther than before by going to those. I have it set at 9 cells right now, which is pretty healthy. You're not seeing a whole ton of slowdown, hopefully. I'm not noticing any. But another thing is, like, how can you tell when your spells are cast and your spells are ready? Well, these are what my hands look like normally, and when I want to activate a spell, I just press whatever button it is to activate the spell, but you'll see your hands change to this. That means you're ready to cast a spell, and I can just go ahead and shoot out a little fire bite. Very cool. Anyway, if you have any questions, there's probably some things I've already forgotten about. I do not know this specific VR fork is not. I don't know how to consolidate that with any other version of Morrowind, like the multiplayer version or the Android version. Hopefully those things come out in the future. I'm not a dev on this project. I just like playing, weird RPGs, especially if they're in VR now that I have my headset. But yeah, this is a really cool experience and a really cool way to play Morrowind. Thank you guys so much for the subscribes, for the likes, and for the views. Have a wonderful rest of your day, okay?